the Land Rover Defender. Oh, it's good to be back behind the wheel of a Defender. I've never owned one, but I've always been kind of keen to own one. And this is a beautiful example. This is one of the last, if not the last, Defender new from the UK that's going to be in New Zealand. The factory is closing down production in the UK because the car doesn't meet new Euro emissions and safety laws. So this could be the last brand new Defender coming into New Zealand. So it's a lovely heritage green colour, you will have seen too. It's got a really lovely kind of aged feel to it. Even though it's brand spanking new, it feels like it's been here for 50 or 60 years already, and I love that. So what we should do is take it for a drive and just see how the Defender stacks up in 21st century Auckland. Here we go. So the Defender, of course, only a manual transmission. That's great. 3 pedals, the full complement as we need. A beautiful handbrake that you have to physically release and move off. None of this electric stuff. And you set off with some sense of occasion and drama, really. You know, it's a big item, the Defender. You've got 90 kilowatts pulling just on 2 tons. So, you know, we're not interested in 0 to 100k times or overtaking times in the Defender. It's not that sort of vehicle. Once those 2 tons are underway, there's a great feeling of momentum. You know, it seems like inevitable that you're going to be going up the road. There's very little that would stop a Defender, apart from its own brakes, of course. So there's a great sense of inevitability, as I say, about progress, which is really cool. You're set up high, you've got a great view. The windscreen is essentially as flat as a ranch slider, which is quite novel, but you get good visibility. It's a very airy feeling inside, even though it's quite a narrow cockpit. It's quite a narrow car overall, really. Your elbows are quite close to the window, but you know, it keeps you snug, and there's little things that you're quite happy, well I find I'm quite happy to trade off in terms of its ergonomics. The gearbox is quite a user-friendly unit. It's not a heavy clutch, it's not difficult to find the right ratios. So as a town car, it's certainly quite practical because you've got that great visibility, you've got that relatively easy to define exterior corners of the car because you can see them. You know, it's like the original Mini, I suppose. It's a classless car, and some people I know have got a lot of money and they can buy any vehicle they want. They choose to buy a Defender because it just sits with them in a kind of a comforting manner. So yeah, I can definitely see the appeal of it. It's got a great as I say, it's got a great sense of occasion, and you're really involved in driving. You know, you don't just sort of get somewhere and think, oh, how did I ever get here? You know you've got there because you've had to wrestle it along and kind of involve yourself in the driving, and that's really cool. I like that. This particular example, it's been trimmed in the top spec leather. Got lovely contrasting stitching. The embossed Land Rover logo on them just, you know, looks nice. Everything's got a sort of, it just seems to be pitched right to me. It's not overstated, it's not laboriously retro feeling, it just feels honest, you know. And people, I think, really appreciate that integrity.
The Defender's not a cheap vehicle. It starts at around $70,000 for the 110 station wagon, but adding leather upholstery and a few accessories like the big roof rack, as on this example, can easily see that price balloon out to mid-80s. A lot of what you're paying for with the Defender sits underneath the bodywork. It's the chassis and the running gear. It's really tough, over-engineered in its specification. It really is designed to get you out of the rough stuff when other cars just wouldn't.
There's a lot of Land Rovers, about 70% of them that have been built ever since the 1940s, they're still running around on the roads today. So a lot of those vehicles that came out in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, they're still doing service for their owners. And that's really great because those initial costs and resources that were put into making them, they haven't been consumed yet fully. They're not on a landfill like so many other cars would be, so in that respect, you know, a Defender's a pretty economical thing to buy. I love it. I think it's a great car. Thank you, Defender. It's been a real delight to get to know you. If you've got the space for it in your garage, go out and buy one before you can't get them anymore.